Brian was wonderful. He had a smile that could light up the room. He also was a redhead, so he had a little bit of a fiery side, but that too was wonderful. I would just try to tone him down. Heart of gold. He lived and breathed for our family, and then he did also for the fire department. He started as a junior firefighter at age 17, and he just embraced our community. Everybody loved him. They actually would call our house at times first before they'd dial 911. So he never met a stranger, and everyone who did meet him really did love him. Very kind soul. He was on the fire department 15 years, had just made a rank as assistant chief after 15 years of service, so we were very proud. He was into that 6 months before that day came. Well, I also was a firefighter right along with Brian, so I understood a lot of what he needed to do at the firehouse, and we actually did it as a family. When it came time to functions for the children, and he may have been gone to a meeting that he had to attend as assistant chief, or a call while the children had a school activity, then I took that over. Both of us, I understood his need to be there, especially with a higher rank, and he loved it. He lived and breathed it, and I didn't mind stepping back, and of course taking care of the kids. So they were at ages where they were quite busy in grade school and high school. So I had a little bit more of a insight to what goes on in a firefighter's life with being one myself. So I had no problem stepping back when he had to be the main focus for whatever may have come up, calls, meeting, other functions with the kids. So we loved being at the firehouse all the time. That's what we did on the weekends, the four of us. We'd go up and clean trucks and make sure the firehouse was in order, and something I really miss. I think it showed my kids, first and foremost, the sense of community and helping each other, because we're in a smaller community. I think it just taught them a lot of values on how to help one another, how important our firefighters are in that moment of need, because the kids would hear the tones go off at that time. We didn't have our own personal radios until later. They would understand the need for Brian and I both at times to leave, depending on what the call was. But I really wanted them to have a sense of value with going and helping others, how important that is, and also to know just how important it is to have those firefighters and EMS people there when everyone has their moment of need. Most people don't realize how important they are until they're in that moment, just waiting for that fire truck or that ambulance to arrive at our houses. So I think that the kids really have learned a lot of responsibility with watching the both of us be on the department, but mostly for their dad being on the department. So it's a great experience, and our community really supported our fire department, which is wonderful, whenever we had fundraisers. So they actually also understood how important it was to have our 3 separate firehouses, and the need to raise money to make things safer for the firefighters and for all the community members also. Our kids really are wonderful because they have great personalities. They're very successful through their schooling and getting their master's degrees, and they've learned to work hard through the fire department. They've learned to make sure that you realize you can succeed at anything you put your mind to. They really do have high standards and great values within their lives now with being parents. So, and I really feel the fire department gave them a lot of that, and it gave them a sense of family, because we had our family at home, but we also had an awful lot of family members up at the firehouse. So a lot of good times, a lot of not so happy times when things would occur with some of our friends and neighbors. And that also gave them another sense of how to cope when things happen to others. And they learned a lot of that through the fire department also. I think that I would love for them to remember what a wonderful person inside he was. He did not let titles or any of that other stuff get into his head to where it made him feel more important. He just was down to earth. They knew that they could trust him. Anybody, whether it was other firefighters or community, they also knew that he's the greatest person to have your back as far as being another firefighter. He was happy at times, he could be hyper at times, but it was always well warranted, whichever direction he had to go in that moment. But he was just, those blue eyes, like I said, they just would light up a room when he walked in. And he was always, always wanting to help whomever needed help in any direction. He really was a good person who did leave us much too soon at 32 years old. So, but he was fiery at times. He would always tell, when it came time to buy shoes, our son was in the age of Michael Jordan, so the shoes were a hot item. So before he would take Jake shopping, I would say, Brian, you need to kind of, just not let him get all those expensive, don't even let him look at the expensive tennis shoes. Just give him, get him what he needs, and that would be good. They would come home every single time with $200 to $300 tennis shoes. But now, those memories are fun, that he would give them a lecture about, you need to, take it easy and not buy something expensive, and then I'll be darned if they didn't walk through the door with Michael Jordan tennis shoes. And that's okay. But he just was so heartfelt. And if you told him a secret, he would keep it. And he wouldn't gossip about other people. He didn't believe in that. There's always enough of that going on. But the community loved him, and as did the fire department. He was just a good person. When I return back Memorial Weekend every year, it gives me a good feeling of paying it forward. The National Fallen Firefighters Foundation had given me basically my life back. It gave me a place to go to when my family and friends couldn't understand, because the ties with the fire service were pretty much severed for quite a while we tried to deal with our grief and cope, my kids and I. But what I want to bring to them is just a quiet presence, that if they need a shoulder to cry on, if they need to talk about their firefighter, that to me was the most important part. I didn't really have that. And so I just wanted to become part of the NFFF and to help secure and start a group that we can just all talk when we wanted to. We didn't have to do it face to face, we could do it email. I just want to give these families a shoulder, an ear, a hug, whatever it is that they might need in their moment, because we've walked their walk in certain aspects, not every single step, but we just want to make sure that they know that we've been through some of what they're going through now, and that we are here for them. It's good giving back. It really is. That's the best part of it. I was fortunate enough truly to have another girl. I had worked with her, and then she had gone to school with my husband and her husband, and Howard unfortunately died 3 months before Brian. And I can remember sitting at that funeral thinking, Denise, how are you coping? 3 young sons. And then 3 months later, she was at my doorstep. So we had each other, and most others don't have that. You have the fire family that wants to be there for you, and they want to try and understand, but in order for them to understand, they would have to lose their firefighter. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But they all go away pretty quickly. So all we have, all of us survivors, is each other, because we do understand, and we have to try and along the line help new survivors understand that they don't mean to just go away, but their lives go on. I don't ever want anybody to feel what we've had to go through, because that would mean they've lost their firefighter. But I just think it's a great support system. Being in the fire service is different, that. You just really need to, the good times and the bad times, it just helps being around the other people that are in a fire family. So, but thanks for what all the firefighters do. All of you guys. I deal with all my Illinois fire chiefs. I'm on the funeral committee, and you guys do a lot. And we're very fortunate to have this support, to have this big of a family that we can lean on each other and celebrate the births of children and grandchildren and moving on and getting remarried and that sort of thing. We're very blessed with that. So thank you.